Have you ever blown your trading account on just one bad trade? A few years ago, I was trading with a couple $100 position size in terms of my P&L swings. I'd make a few hundred on winners, and I'd hopefully lose less than a few hundred on losers. But then there was one day that I was fed up, I couldn't take it anymore, and for whatever reason, something came over me, and I ended up losing over $1,700 on just one trade. And at the time, based on the size that I was trading with, that was a lot of money to me because I had just erased all of the gains that I had made in the past 2 months in one day. Classic revenge trading. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what revenge trading is, why it's ruining your progress, and how to stop it before it destroys your account. Okay, so what is revenge trading? Now, revenge trading, you could think of it as I'm trying to recover losses, but it doesn't necessarily just stop there because a lot of people don't talk about this. And well, maybe I was to take a trade and I was to lose, and that's okay. It is what it is. I could also take a trade and I am potentially to break even, or I'm going to make maybe half of what I planned to, or maybe I make $100, but then it keeps going and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have made 700. You can absolutely revenge trade after winning trades. It does not only come after losing trades. What it really comes down to is doing something that is outside of your strategy or outside of your original trading plan. So if you normally were to risk $100 to make $200 or risk $100 to make $150 on a given trade, all of a sudden now you're risking $500 to make $1,000, or you're taking trades that aren't per your strategy because you feel as if I missed out and now I need to make it back, or I need to make up, or the move is happening and I'm missing the move, so I need to catch at least some of it. Now, you've probably heard this before, but why do we do this? Well, due to our human nature, we have a couple of needs. There is a sense of ego and a sense of pride associated with our trading, whether we tell anybody or whether we are just speaking to ourselves and we are in our own heads. We objectively feel better when we are doing things that are making us money or getting us closer to our goals. When we are moving towards a goal, when we're trying to make money, let's say you're trying to make, $100,000 and you're moving towards that goal, you feel good. You get something out of that. There's a utility that you draw from that, and that makes you feel good. And so when you don't do that, or when you're going the other way, you feel like shit. Compound that with sharing it with friends, family, or dare I even say on social media, and now you have a lot on your back that you have to think about when you're trading. And when you're losing and not moving towards your goal, it's easy to feel as if, holy shit, I'm letting myself down and I'm letting all these people down as well. As humans, we simply hate losing and we hate being wrong. What the problem is, trading doesn't always work this way. Trading is an interesting mind game that we have to play, and it takes us, and at least in my experience, has made me think completely differently about a lot of things, especially when it comes to the charts. Because if we keep revenge trading, we'll likely have bigger losses, blow accounts, have little to no consistency, and then little to no confidence, which then feeds all of the other pieces, and you'll continue to spiral. Even if you're having some winners in there, the losses will eventually outweigh. Okay, so how do we avoid revenge trading? Well, step one, we need a brokerage account to trade in. And if you're looking for a place to trade responsibly, Iron Beam's got you covered.
Welcome to Iron Beam, the future of futures trading. With our cutting-edge chart trading feature and 300+ indicators, you can now trade directly off the chart anytime, anywhere. Delivering seamless trading across all platforms, the Iron Beam journey is supported by 24-hour trader support, low day trade margins, and no account minimums. Iron Beam brings the future into the present. Join now and augment your trading experience.
Okay, so now there's a couple of things that we need to talk about on how to avoid revenge trading. So if we want to avoid revenge trading, we'll need to have some sort of strategy. I know myself, when I did not have a clear, concise, consistent strategy that I could follow, I could see this happens, I do this. This happens, I don't do anything. This is happening, I do this. If I have a written out strategy, whether it's mentally or it's actually written out, and I'm following that strategy, over time, you won't have to refer to the written out strategy. You'll just know I'm not seeing what my strategy looks for, or I am seeing what my strategy looks for. But when you have that, you now have a very simplified approach on how you enter the markets. You're not entering the markets at random. You're not hoping for a move up or down. You're not hoping for anything. You are simply entering based off of a strategy and based off of probabilities. You know that you can absolutely lose and that revenge trading and being right are not required in order for the long-term success of your strategy. You can be wrong a bunch. You can actually be wrong much more than you're right, but still make money if the strategy aligns to where you're making a lot more on your winners than your losers. You'll likely hear people talk about taking less trades per day, setting a cap, walking away after a big loss, and those things are, yeah, they could help. But what the root of the problem here is you're just not thinking in terms of probabilities. Because if you were thinking in terms of probabilities, you would be okay with your strategy if you have an edge. You'd be okay with losing trades here and there because that's part of the strategy. That's part of trading. It's not that you always are going to be right. You're always moving up and to the right, and the nice, easy, slow and steady curve just keeps on going. There is bumps along the way, but if the overall, when you broaden it out, trend is moving positively, well, then that's all that matters. So while everyone's going to go and tell you, take less trades, try this strategy, do this, all this, the core of it all comes back to you and the fundamental understanding that if I was to revenge trade and lose more on my next trade, I'm digging a bigger hole that my strategy now is not accounting for me coming out of. My strategy accounts for me losing, let's say, $100 per trade on average, and I could lose a couple trades in a row. It sucks. If I revenge trade and lose 500, well, now I'm putting myself in a bigger hole that I don't know if my strategy over time will be able to get myself out of if I do that consistently. I go along for a couple of weeks, I'm fine, I'm watching my strategy, I'm doing everything right, and then I revenge trade, and then I dig a hole, and then I have to climb back out. And even if I was to revenge trade and it was to work and I was to make money, you're setting the foundation of bad habits that are ultimately not going to serve you in the future. So the problem is not take less trades per day. Oh, go for a walk, go to the gym, like you'll see a lot of people talk about. Maybe it can help, sure, but that's not getting to the root of the problem, which lies in here. Anybody who's been in the game long enough understands this, and I'm recently understanding this after I've been in the game for over 5 years now, of what it takes to actually be consistent. And being consistent is dealing with the drawdown, it's dealing with the losses, as long as you're following the strategy that has proven to you that you have an edge. If you have a revenge trading story, let us know in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear what you're dealing with and then how you've overcome it or how you haven't overcome that so that we can talk about this in more depth. If you're looking for a video on trading psychology, I will link one up on the screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.